G'day, mate. I'm writing to you, recording from Australia, sunny Australia. I was here to celebrate my birthday and the new year with my big Australian family. That's right, many of you may not know this, but I am a Australian Italian American. My paternal grandmother was Australian and my dad grew up in Brisbane and then California. And my mom is Italian. My maternal grandparents are from Sicily, and my mom grew up in Brooklyn and then California. And I like to think that I got the best of all three cultures. I have a perpetual tan. I'm snobby about coffee. I can talk with my hands like crazy. I'm overly optimistic. I'm sometimes too loud, and all of that while sharing a passion for food. So over the next few weeks, I'm traveling around Australia with my dad, and I'd love to hear your tips for Western Australia. We're going on a road trip. So we're going to be headed to Perth, and then we're going to be driving either up or down the coasts, going to decide what we're going to do. I'm also digging into all things Aussie, whether it's shamanism, wacky fitness trends, or fads, new biohacks. So posts are going to be coming soon. I'm wishing you a very prosperous and abundant 2026. So let's get into this week's Nina's Note. It's number 166. We expect perfection out of AI and not of humans. Why? When I use a large language model, an LLM, and I find out that it's hallucinating or it's making up sources for different claims, I get super frustrated. I would feel the same about a colleague if they were stumbling over their words and misremembering books or facts. However, I would give my colleague some grace if they made a mistake or misremembered or misspoke. But when it comes to AI, myself and others, we expect perfection. Not just that, we expect a level of perfection that we would not expect from humans. So with humans, we expect messiness, we expect some level of human error because, we're human, we're not machines. But as we develop AI, LLMs, and other AI-powered softwares, we just expect absolute perfection. The concern becomes, well, what if AI makes a mistake? People are already using LLMs to help with medical diagnoses, and the truth is, it is doing a better job than some clinicians. In human interactions, we have a lot of flaws. For example, diagnostic mistakes happen between 5 to 20% of doctors' visits. That's roughly 1 in 5 to 1 in 20 appointments where something gets missed or misinterpreted. And it's not just medicine where we see these margins of error. 80% of aviation accidents can be traced back to human error. Not mechanical failure, but people making mistakes under pressure. Even elite financial institutions are not immune. Roughly 20% of audits, which are done by the Big Four, these are the Big Four consulting firms in the United States, KPMG, Ernst & Young, PwC, and Deloitte, they have roughly 20% of their audits have significant deficiencies. And also get this, in data entry, a 95% accuracy rate is considered good, which means that even when we're doing well, we're still getting it wrong 5% of the time. And the pattern is clear, humans are brilliant, we're adaptive, we're capable problem solvers that are also inconsistent, distractible, and prone to cognitive biases. There is a belief that humans can operate at this 100% accuracy, but that's really not the reality. Even elite professionals can only achieve 90 to 95% accuracy. While expecting AI to be perfect is not a reality, I think the expectation of AI to outperform us is a very real one. But what does that actually mean? AI needs to be wrong less often than us, or it needs to be better than what we have now. But what then makes us human? It's that imperfection. When I read an article that's clearly generated by AI, it just feels soulless. You can sense it. It lacks the emotion, the depth, the playfulness, the personality that a human author brings. It's just empty. And as humans, it's our imperfections that make us interesting. We have stories about our flaws, our mistakes, and the lessons we learned. AI, on the other hand, uses brute force to solve a problem. So it tries all the scenarios, perhaps learning along the way, but really without a story to tell. Like, would we want AI to tell us how it tried 10,000 solutions to our problem only to give us generic answers that cite the wrong sources anyway? Would we want to hear that story? AI tells stories using the same frameworks, the same structure, and it's boring. The variability and unpredictability is what keeps humans coming back for more. I like to think that trickles into Nina's Notes and why you come back here as my loyal readers and listeners and viewers. You never know what you're gonna get, and it's always interesting, I hope. Topics vary. I share my opinion, I share facts, I share short stories. This is what makes my writing human and fun to read. When ChatGPT hit the masses, I played with it a lot for a variety of writing problems. I used it to structure posts. I asked it to help me make outlines. I asked it to rewrite my overly scientific writing for different reading levels so I could learn how to explain things more simply. And it's been massively helpful, but it also trained me to notice these like distinctively AI qualities in writing. And now I've read so much AI generated content from the answers to my own prompts to slop on the internet that I've really scaled back my use. I don't use AI assistants for my writing anymore. I believe we're all here for the human element of writing, the imperfections, while we wait for AI to outperform us on other tasks. I believe the age where we pay for a premium for human-generated content, art, music, and more, is going to come sooner than we think. We think we can scale the human experience with AI, but I think what we will find is an overly perfect, emotionless, dark age of art and culture. I already feel it when my favorite podcast host switched over to an AI generated voice to create more content at scale. The pace was wrong, the irregularity isn't there. Yes, the AI voice sounds like her and the content itself is decent, but it leaves me knowing that I didn't just listen to a human. And there's something about knowing that there's a human on the other side of that microphone, putting in the time to talk with the audience that makes that connection. Without it, we really feel that lack of connection. And that may add fuel to the fire of the loneliness epidemic in ways that we can't yet expect. When we do make AI more human and accept the flaws, the mistakes, and the inaccuracy, perhaps then writing will also feel more human. So here's the paradox that we're living in. We demand perfection out of AI while accepting our own messy humanity. We want machines to be flawless, yet we're drawn to the imperfections that make us human. Maybe the question isn't why do we expect perfection of AI? Maybe it's what are we losing when we get it? Because if AI replaces human creation, connection, and conversation, we might find ourselves in a world that is technically better but feels fundamentally worse. And the choice isn't between perfect AI or imperfect humans, it's about deciding which imperfections we are willing and want to live with. Do you guys want to go beyond the newsletter? I mentor founders and ambitious professionals who want to build resilient minds and companies using evidence-based tools from neuroscience and longevity science. You can head over to my website to learn more about private mentorship. That's www.ninapatrick.xyz and learn more about upcoming group sessions and how to get in touch. The book of the week, The Savage Detectives by Roberto Bolaño. 2 out of 5 stars. This book started out with a bunch of horny bohemians, and these young poets find themselves in this really like chaotic sexual energy. It captures this young, finding myself energy that they're experiencing during university in Mexico City. Then all the poets, they all travel, finding themselves in all the corners of the world, some in Europe, some in South America, and others are visiting each other. And then in the book, things start to get a bit calmer. Each chapter is an individual story. And you see how their lives all intertwine and evolve. They also have this poets group. It's called the Visceral Realists. And they were popular in Mexico City, but as time passes, their ideas get abandoned. The poets move on. I put the book down before part 3. And I put it down for a long period of time, and I didn't pick it back up. So that's why it gets 2 stars. It's a very long book. It had a hard time keeping my attention. And I found a lot of the characters just frustrating. And that really very little was happening in the plot. So apologies, Roberto Bolaño, but I'm not going to pick this one back up. Do you want to improve your health and wellness in 2026? If you do, I've written 9 guidebooks that can help you get started. You can find those over on my website, www.ninapatrick.xyz/guidebooks, and they're all available to download. You can start with a free one, which is my breathwork for longevity one. Check this out, cow snuggling. Like goat yoga and other wellness trends like equine therapy, cow cuddling has risen in popularity. While technically a form of agritourism, cow cuddling does have calming and therapeutic wellness benefits. Cows' warm bodies and slow resting heartbeats can promote oxytocin release in humans. Farms like Hickory Health Highlands in Pennsylvania offer $55 hour-long sessions, and they saw 2,500 visitors in 2024. Cow cuddling sessions let visitors brush, pet, feed, and cuddle the cows during their timed session. Popular cuddlers involve fluffy varieties like the Highland cows, who have become social media stars in recent years because they're just so fluffy. That's it for today on Nina's Notes. For bonus content and deep dives, subscribe to my newsletter at www.ninasnotes.xyz. Catch me on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, and if you loved this, share it with a friend who's curious about living longer, better, and healthier. I'll see you next week.